So everybody's got a little bit of actor and descriptive person in them.
Yeah.
Even if they are quiet, even if they are shy. I might say, oh, I love how you described something that was going on.
Right.
And I make a point of showing them, I'm like, this is beautiful, your words. But, you know, I connect with people in their environment. So people are actors, people are expressive if you listen.
Welcome to Lived In by Zoe Therapy Services. I'm your host, Micah Faye, and I'm excited to share with you a community of experts who specialize in helping you feel fantastic. That's what Lived In aims to be, an online hub for DIY wellness led by the experts and curated by folks who care. In this wellness series, I interview Richmond community leaders, vendors, and healers to empower you with a toolkit, one filled with healthy practices to make every day just a little bit better. So welcome to Lived In, your online comfy couch surrounded by friends and supported by experts. Come on in. We're excited to have you. Hi friends, and welcome back to Lived In. I'm your host, Micah Faye, and today I am here with Dr. Annie Coffey, and she is a licensed clinical psychologist as well as a registered drama therapist. So, I think I'm more interested in the registered drama therapist.
Of course you are.
Obviously.
Of course you are. There aren't that many of us in Richmond.
Okay.
And there aren't even... It is an internationally recognized credential, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about sort of me, right?
Right, yeah.
I think, Micah, the way I can tell you about it is that I always feel like it's a combination, anyway, of all my training and who I am as a person. Yeah. So I also was a teacher, to start with, a language arts teacher, but middle school, right? So I always like creative things. I like writing. I like poetry. I like art. I like the creative view of life, right? And expression of life. So I knew I was going to be a psychologist, though, too. So it was like teaching leads to psychology, leads to becoming the registered drama therapist. And to me, they all go together. There's a bit of healing, there's a bit of instruction, there's a little bit of creativity, and you could just do that triangle. And to me, I felt like I found my true calling when, in 2002, I bumped into the teacher that became my mentor. Wow. So, yes, and there's so many variations of drama therapy and being a registered drama therapist, however you practice, that I cannot speak at all today about everybody's way. Because again, the individual therapist brings their self to the work too. Okay. But I think I was born to be a little combo.
A little combo?
Yeah.
I also think I was born to be a little combo.
Yes. Yes. And that's great. Yeah. I almost became a registered poetry therapist, but that was too confining for me.
Yeah. Because poetry can always become theater, right?
Yes, it can.
So
it can. But like very cerebral is what I would have said the difference between why I didn't go that way and why I did go my way, because I really need to put things in action. So
we're two drama people, so we could speak in a code for like an hour. So let's make sure we don't do that.
That's true.
But also, can you just tell me what is drama therapy as though I had never participated in it myself?
Yes, I will. I'll tell you how I like to use it and what it is. It's basically allowing roles or alter egos or scarves, masks, props, all kinds of things to help a person either express themselves or perhaps even have the conversation with the empty chair, who could be, that pillow could be suddenly my mother.
Right.
If maybe given the right props around her. But drama therapy helps people practice and or enact something that they need to get out of themselves. Sure. It could be it could be themselves personally. Right. But more often, the best use of drama therapy is when you are working out an interaction, a social issue that could be very, very broad, like Black Lives Matter, or it could be very small, like in your own family, role-playing, let's say, a conversation between family members. Okay. I could go on and on. A whole field that you would love is psychodrama.
Love that.
Yep. And that is something that I do try to use a little bit of, but I don't have all the credentials. I just use techniques. Maybe I could give an example.
I would love an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, the teacher in me. a person comes in and they just look so angry or sad. Let's just say angry. Yeah. And maybe they are even sitting like this. And we all know body language is just not just acting, but it can be, psychological. And you might invite them. Like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? This would be an individual therapy case, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm just mad. Oh, okay. Not duh-oh, but what's making you angry? And when the words come to the body, then we have a little bit of mind, a little bit of body, a little bit of spirit. Right. That I would say, oh, what happened? Oh, you had a fight with your mom? What was said? And that would be kind of more factual.
Okay.
Right? I would then possibly say to the child, well, or the kid, the teenager, what do you wish you had said? Can we draw? Can we pretend? Can we see what that would feel like to do it differently?
Yeah.
What do you wish you had said? And sometimes that's enough, but sometimes I need to become the mother.
Yeah.
I need to know enough about the mother where I will do a scene, totally improv with the kid, and ideally, a person would feel heard. A person would feel like they got to say what they needed to say. And they might even approach their conversation the next time with their parent differently.
We did this in my class yesterday. This was hilarious.
So
we're reading this book called Dear Martin by Nick Stone. Everyone go read it. And it's about this little boy called Justice. And he's a young black man who goes to a mostly white school. And he has incredibly high grades and he's headed to the Ivy Leagues.
Yeah.
And he falls in love with a white girl.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. It's not allowed.
Ugh.
So mom has this very harsh conversation with him. And honestly, I can see from mom's point of view. I see what she sees.
Yep.
But the kids never do. They're like angry about it.
Right.
So we rewrote the scene where mom was an empathetic listener and she told Justice what Justice needed to hear and also spoke her own truth.
I love it.
It was so fun.
That's very drama therapy.
They were so good at it. So immediately, all I said was, hey, what should she have said? And when one little boy, he was like, well, I think she should have said that, she understands how he feels and she appreciates that he's in love and she wants him to feel all those good feelings, but she is fearful in her own heart. And I was like,
whoa, so you were teaching
We're going to hang up.
Yeah, that was a teaching moment.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great.
So you already know it.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing about drama therapists. Some people come to it from the acting world and they're like, I think I need the mental health part of this to become what I want to do. And some of us, like me, I was already Dr. Coffey, blah, 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 and I went to the drama therapy world.
Right.
So I didn't have as much acting experience. But I think we all overlap. We're born to use already written plays, improv if you want, scenes. So what you do already, what you did yesterday is absolutely in the wheelhouse.
Right.
And it was intuitive, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a kid was like, she did it wrong. And I was like, cool, then let's do it right.
I know. But that's the cool thing, too. I like that about drama.
Yeah.
Openness.
Me too.
Yep.
So then you work mostly with kids and teens.
I do. But I have adult clients. I mean, I wrote part of a chapter which almost got accepted into a redo of a major book in the field, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Using drama therapy with couples, and in particular around sexual issues for the couples. So that's a whole nother story, which I'm not saying like they enacted anything in my office, for Pete's sakes. But the point is that it helps a lot with this population. Like, again, I can go wherever. I kind of can go wherever I need to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty flexible girl.
Okay. So kids and teens
especially.
Mostly. And then occasionally we see adults. So how do you get them to buy in?
Ooh, well, that's a good question. Some people won't.
Right.
And if that's the case, then I put on my other hat. I'm just going to speak to that before I go back to your other question.
Sure.
So the part of me that is a creative arts therapist, which means I don't just use drama.
Yeah.
I'll use art. I will use poetry. I will use photography. I will use music and movement. I'll find where they're naturally creative. Some people are very, very nervous about getting out of their chair, if you will.
Yeah.
How I get these people to buy in, I go very slowly. So clearly something like puppets might be a much easier way, instead of me saying what I'm thinking, I did do this with one of these couples, or toys. I do have stuffed animals in my office. So, you know, I made them look at all. We're talking a basket full of toys. Pick the one that speaks to you. I'm like thinking of like an exact couple right now.
Yeah.
And I actually worked individually. I had them come in individually, this couple. Pick the toy that speaks to you. Somebody picked somebody that we ended up calling the Jangly Rabbit.
Ooh.
I know, right?
That's scary.
And then somebody else, well, no, it was good for him. And then somebody else picked her character. And I asked him to speak about what he needed to say to his wife from the Jangly Rabbit. And the Jangly Rabbit gave so much permission. It was not him. It was the voice. So we call that, you know, a projective technique, right? It's so common, you know. And she did the same thing. And then they were warmed up. So when they came back, individual couple session, they were kind of rehearsed, if you will, to say the big things.
Cool.
So the buying in is like, I'm not going to make you scared. Let's just, one other example. Perhaps somebody's more of an artist and they put something on paper that obviously looks intense, or maybe they're like, I have this feeling and I can't put it to words. I'm like, okay, here's paper, quick, not quick, but draw it. I go to my other room, the creative arts therapy room, and I bring things back all the time. Like, well, what about this? And then they bring that to life with their body. Like, I feel stuck. I feel really small. I feel so angry. I'm going to explode, whatever it may be. The buy-in is, I've got to match them where they are. What's their natural way of being creative? I know that was a long answer.
No, it's a good answer, though. So you present them with multiple modes, and then whichever one seems to sort of click is the one that you eventually use?
That's right.
Okay.
And I mean, I usually know it before I'm ever, you know, I know it. I know them well enough.
Right.
If they're brand new.
Yeah, who are you right out the gate? Are you like...
I'm more of a talk person in the beginning.
Doctor? Or you...
No. No, I'm not. In fact, my website, which I don't even know if you went back to it. It's been released since maybe you got to me, renewed, whatever, revived. It shows a lot of who I am.
Okay.
The pictures, whatever, replenishment and change is my website. And I like that because it pulls the right kind of client to see me. Ha ha ha. Yeah. So, you know, if you do well, you're going to attract the people that you probably are best suited for.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
I know. Well, it is. It's not marketing. It's me. Like, what you see is what you get.
I appreciate that.
On that. Yeah.
So then talk me through. So I went the theater route.
Yes.
Theater to theater education to education, right?
Yeah.
And my total intent is to return to the theater.
Yeah.
But how did you find us? Because I feel like we're a really weird group of people. How did you get to us?
How do you mean us?
The theater folk.
Oh.
We're weirdos.
Well, okay, I know. So, but I love that. All right, that's a great, like, how did I find you? I think even when I came to Richmond in 1992, right, I was finishing up my doctoral training, and I'd gone to your PsyD program at Rutgers, and I already was known that first year in Richmond as the girl from the North. Like, I am from the North. Been here for a long time. I'm now a Richmonder-ish, and I have 4 kids that are all from here, you know. But I already had license to speak outside the box as a person that wasn't, like, I don't know, raised to be polite only. Like, my irreverence, my funniness comes a lot from my family. So irreverence is a piece of, I think, what makes me fresh. Okay. Fresh meaning not stale, meaning not stayed, not still or stagnant or whatever. I found you guys because I think it was always in me. And I was the middle of 5 kids, as I was telling you earlier, and my older brother was a stage actor. Great voice, musical person, could sing like heck. My sister was the actress. And I wasn't supposed to do that, right? But I later came to it because I'm like, I love this stuff. I used to do readers theater for little kids in elementary school when I was getting my hours to become a registered drama therapist. It was a natural. So reading is a piece. Reading expressively is a piece of being comfortable with the world of don't be yourself only.
Right. Huh. I wonder, how does that differ from what we think of when we think of talk therapy? Because when we think of talk therapy, we think about very much being oneself, being deep in oneself.
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so let's just say you were talking to me and you said, I felt like a cold mouse when my mom was, you know, pushing me out the door to hurry up and get to the bus that day.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, hey, Micah.
Let's be a cold mouse.
That's right. What is it? Can you show me what that feels like? So it is, I know, look at you. Where's your tail, Micah, when you were feeling like the cold mouse? Right? Maybe it's retracted. Maybe it's hung over your shoulder. Maybe it's something that you nibble on. Maybe it's something that you wrap around your neck a little bit just to keep warmer. You know what I mean? There's a million things. Again, who says they're a cold mouse? Not that, but I listen. I listen so carefully. No, and when I'm taking notes, even in person or telemedicine.
Right.
So I love to take notes, and I'll sit there and I'll just like this because I can write really well, watching you. Mm-hmm. But if you say something that's amazingly unique, which everybody does every session,
right.
I take out the yellow highlighter, which is I don't want those words lost. Right. So I love words. So everybody's got a little bit of actor and descriptive person in them, even if they are quiet, even if they are shy. I might say, I love how you described something that was going on. Right. And I make a point of showing them, I'm like, this is beautiful, your words. But I connect with people in their environment. So that's the cool thing about virtual. It's like one of my kids is 14, an artist by nature. Mm-hmm. She has 2 birds. And their names I won't say, just in case it gives something away. But we always check in about her birds. Yeah. And she is a bird person. So if they're talkative, or they don't sit on our shoulder, but I'm just saying, I like to take in people's environment. So anyway, people are actors, people are expressive if you listen.
Okay. So then you got your training first.
As a clinical psychologist.
Yeah. So that's where you got maybe your listening skills started there, do you think?
Or even as a middle child.
Okay.
No, I grew up in a family where I was 12 when I knew I wanted to be a therapist.
Wow. Okay, start there.
Okay. Middle child, mom and dad, listening to everybody's point of view. Always being the one that everybody could go to because I didn't take sides. Mm. And I was trusted from the get-go. Cool. And it can be hard though. Mm-hmm. Because, of course, a lot of fighting is going on or whatever, right? A disagreement. But, I was one of those people at the lunch table when you're a friend in high school and you're just like, listen, whatever, you get that. I know you get that. Like a lot of us therapists, I think we're always good listeners. Yeah. But the training came then, even more.
So 12-year-old you was like, I'm going to listen to people professionally. Yeah. And then 18-year-old you said, I'm going where?
Oh, I knew I wanted to major in psychology and minor in elementary ed.
Love it.
Yep, knew it. Got my teaching certificate, did teach for 3 years, and then I went to psychology, knew I wanted to. Okay. But then the magic moment, again, came when I was trying to figure out my dissertation. Okay. And I wanted to use poetry therapy, which I did do, to help bereaved siblings.
Specific?
Yep. Okay. Adolescent bereaved siblings. And then the choice became, should I become further credentialed as a registered poetry therapist or a registered drama therapist? I literally had a cool wake-up moment in 2002. Cool. I asked for the dream, and it came to me the next morning. But what I'm trying to say here is, again, not to diss poetry. I love poetry. Some people are poets. But it was very in the head. Mm. I knew I was going to have to prescribe poetry. I know you're an English background, but I did not like the feeling of I needed to learn decades, if not centuries, of poetry to best prescribe something. I'm much more in the moment. So that was the choice point. Right. And I'm kind of a physical person. I'm like, woohoo. So to move is way better than to just think.
Yeah. That's funny. Mm-hmm. There's this idea that actors are either like thinkers or were bodily. Mm-hmm. And I was always more of the thinker. Mm. And so I had some professors who just really hated me. And I have some directors who really will never cast me. That's funny. But I have some directors and professors who want that kind of thinker personality. Exactly. You know what I mean? In any case, I'm glad you're a bodily person. Yeah. I always was friends with you all. And
I know, isn't that funny?
Yeah, I'd be like, okay. And they'd be like,
yeah, absolutely.
All right, you go ahead over there.
I know. Well, that's funny. Now you're making me think the shadow work. That was probably what really first got me into thinking about that is. So there was some conference in town I went to, Jungian therapy. And
know all about it.
Yeah, you do? Do you?
Yeah, actually.
Okay, well.
I wrote a paper on it.
Oh my gosh. So you know, what is it called? It's active imagination.
I think.
What do they call that? I
have a German word in my brain, which is probably it.
What is it?
Nope, that's not it. That's Brecht's alienation theory.
Okay, don't worry about it. But so I know I was going, and this is the other thing to truly tell you how I feel like I've come out best how I am, is that my personal struggles, work, stuff needed to be worked on. So like the shadow stuff was wonderful for me to explore. It's complete permission. Like, you're doing this, you think your persona is this, but what's that shadow stuff?
Yeah.
And so when I started to explore that, that's what led me into drama therapy, the conference I went to.
Okay.
And then the poetry thing had to be chosen. See? It's like, see how everything weaves together in my little life?
Yeah.
Woo!
In my little life.
My little life.
Can you define shadow stuff for people who don't know what that means?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's right, 5th grade. So the parts of ourselves that we think are not there. No. I never would be mean. Never.
Right.
I'm a really perfect, nice, wonderful person. Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Oh, really? So you don't like that part of yourself? Or you buried it? Or you refuse to admit that it might be in you?
Yeah.
And then you play with it.
Okay.
And you're less scared of it. Like, oh, yeah? Don't you think sometimes you've had a mean thought? You know what I mean? You might just have to take your time to get there.
Right.
But it allows us to be more connecting with everyone.
Right.
We're not better than the next person. We're not really that different than the next person.
Right.
Some people might show a lot more one side only of themselves, and another might show this one side only. But if we're really true to ourselves...
All of us have a little anger in us.
Oh, definitely that.
I mean, I have a lot of anger in me.
Right? No.
I'd say that's my primary characteristic.
That's interesting.
But I got a little bit of sweet in me.
Yes,
as opposed to other people.
Well, now you're making me think of all the, so part of my journey has been way back in 2002. I went to a Chinese classical acupuncturist, and there's 5 different elements, and anger was my natural born thing. She said, wonderful woman, nope, we're not upset about the anger. Use it to teach yourself. And I tell that to my clients all the time. If you're angry, well, let's not get upset about that. What's underneath there? Mm-hmm. What are you angry about? And again, that might lead to a drama moment.
Right.
Like, okay, so you didn't say that. You're holding it back, but in the meantime, you have stomach aches. You can't sleep. Whatever. Go on and on.
Right.
Express it, babe.
We had an acupuncturist on recently, and he said that that anger is held in, I think he said the right side of the body, and he said the kidneys maybe.
Whoa.
And the shoulders and the knees. And I have huge shoulder and knee problems. Mm-hmm. And I was like...
Right, I know. So you kind of want to duck your head under.
I said, oh, Jamie, I feel seen and I don't want to.
Yep. Well, you know what's funny too is that my mom, who is still alive, 87, she said, Annie, I always let you have all your feelings. I was lucky. There you go. Yeah. Talk about comfort with whatever you have. I bring it on.
Right.
That was my earliest development of being comfortable with feelings.
Wow. So 2002 is a number you keep coming back to.
Yes. 2002 was the big year when I decided to pursue drama over poetry only, even though I had gotten my dissertation in poetry therapy. That would have been the natural route.
Okay.
Let's see. But I was at a poetry therapy conference in Denver, talking to my poetry therapy friends. I needed to make my decision which one I was going to pursue, drama, poetry. And that they were like, ask for some guidance. So before I went to sleep that night in this big fancy hotel room in Denver, I said, please help me figure out this path. Mm-hmm. It sounds weird, but that's what I said. And when I woke up in the morning, I looked out my hotel window and I saw the most gigantic sunrise. However, it was the reflection of the sunrise on one of these beautiful giant glass buildings in downtown Denver, which I interpreted to mean it isn't the thing you thought you were doing, the sun, the poetry therapy, the direct thing you were at a conference about and all that. Yeah. It's the reflection. So I took that as, this is the other route. Yeah. Anyway.
And theater is holding a mirror up to life.
There you go. Oh, I love it that you just said that.
So it's Uta Hagen.
I did not know that.
You should read Uta. I think you'd really like her. She's really cool.
Una Hagen?
Uta Hagen.
Uta Hagen.
I'll email
Tell me later. Thank you. But anyway, so I was working on personal stuff also.
Yeah.
And I really got a lot out of it.
Okay.
That first conference, I was doing a piece of playback theater, a whole different model of group work to help others in the audience. And I asked for a scene. I told my own story in playback. You tell a story and the theater troupe plays it back. And then as you sit there, you're like, they say to you, the director might say, is there anything you would change?
Oh.
Right? And in that moment, I needed the scene that was being enacted. Somebody was playing my sister talking to my daughter.
Wow.
And I needed my sister, actress, not to look my daughter in the eye. And that had happened because my sister has her own stuff that's hard.
Yeah.
And when that happened, and they did it again, the right way, if you will, I started to cry. And I'm like, this is powerful.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. They were called the Kitchen Sink Playback Theater, and they were in Charlottesville. I don't think they exist anymore. But I almost went that route. You see, there's a million things that if you're open and you have stuff going on, almost anything can. I mean, like adaptable, right?
Right.
It really blew me away, and so now you can see. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to just do that. I don't want to be just anything. I need to combine.
2 more things. So 2002, you made this huge life decision.
Yes.
I'm curious how your training has affected your interpersonal relationships.
Ooh, do you mean my drama therapy training? Or
yes,
any?
And you know what I mean?
How has it affected my interpersonal relationships?
Like, do you talk to your kids differently than other moms talk to their kids? I imagine
That's
you
a
do.
great question. You would have to ask them. I have kids that are coming on 27, coming on 25, 21, and then my 11-year-old. So let's see. I think I'm really good at getting feedback from my kids. So that's interpersonally with them in terms of, Mom.
Yeah.
You know, that might happen. Or sometimes they'll just say mother. And no, right?
Ooh.
They know that I hate it. They know that I hate that. So when I was doing improv, which began in Richmond in August 2018, so very recently, we were a troupe. A guy from Charlottesville and his wife came into town and they wanted to train a bunch of us. They wanted us to, whatever. They were in Charlottesville. They're trying something new. And I was very funny. Smart aleck. I don't know how it kept happening. It helped me with my husband. So instead of saying like, I'm kind of pissed off, I might just say, oh, if I just would try on a hat. I would come up with a new voice. I would be a new character.
Yeah.
So this is permission, not necessarily the dark side of myself, but the side that wanted to get a message across. So with my own children, absolutely. We use voices in my family a ton.
Yeah.
Which gets things, it's literally like a perfect slippery slide. It's not slippery slope, something bad happens. It's like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Our kids like Dungeons and Dragons. They do.
Of course they do, yeah.
And Critical Role. I don't know if you know that podcast. Okay, well, whatever.
Cool.
It allows the interpersonal relationship is, try on anything. If you can't say it in your own voice, just put a little Cockney accent in there, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything. And you'll get it out.
I learned recently, actually, that people with anxiety are more likely to mirror their conversational partner. So we're more likely to pick up on an accent and then repeat it back. And then people are like, that's really fucking rude. And you're like, oh, sorry. I did it to make you comfortable.
Right. So that's funny. Yes. So yeah, we will grab anything. My husband's famous for grabbing what he thinks is like a hick accent.
Wow.
Whatever. Or no, he doesn't. He never does posh stuff. But what it allows is the truth to come. You know?
Yeah.
And eventually you sort of forget that you're talking in the accent and you might slip back into regular talking.
Yeah.
But interpersonally with my friends, I'm just sillier. I don't like anybody who's too uncomfortable with feelings. So that's my problem, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like one of our good friends from college, he was in our wedding and everything, and he's a lawyer by profession. His name is Rob, but because Rob is so smart, but still has a playful side, I'll say Wob. I will literally on purpose say his name wrong to shift it into something where he then smiles big and we'll talk from a different place. That's a friend thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just in my work. Yeah. In my work, everybody's different. I don't necessarily talk in different accents, but I will every once in a while to make a point in a session.
Yeah.
Like sort of what you just said a second ago.
Yeah. Huh. So then, can you give us, let's say we're having like an anxious or tense moment with someone.
In a session? Or interpersonally?
Like in life. Let's say we're just having like an anxious or tense moment. What's like 2 techniques we could try?
Oh,
all of us.
All of us. Okay, so just pretend you were sitting like this.
Okay.
And you were tense. If I was with you, even as your friend, I would mirror it without making a point of it.
Okay.
That's what we can do in the world.
Okay.
We can literally mirror, attune to the person that we're with. And we might start to feel what it is that they have going on by holding our body in the same way they are.
Yeah.
Another thing might be to say, I feel the tension in the room, do you? Mm. And you might actually say, if you're like a therapist or a friend, just like, you might change your position. You might stretch out.
Yeah.
But you might say, like, I feel the tension, and what, am I doing anything to make you feel tense? Mm-hmm. Is there something that you want to say? And if you don't, that's okay. I just notice it.
Okay.
It's just real gentle things,
Yeah.
I think that is definitely something from drama therapy, attuning and body language.
Okay.
Actors too, obviously, but you can start to feel some stuff. Who was it? Yeah, like, if someone says they're angry, where are you feeling it is one of the best questions.
Oh, where are you feeling it?
If they're saying, I'm scared, where are you feeling it?
Mm-hmm.
And though we're not going to do this here, and I don't necessarily do it in my practice, that whole progressive muscle relaxation where you intentionally tense things and then let them go. It's like a warm-up, right, for theater. That's a great thing to do with friends. Like, yes, or interpersonally. I'm like, yeah, take a deep breath. You might intentionally do it yourself.
Right, and then they'll mirror it kind of on accident.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, Dr. Coffey,
yes.
Who should come to you? How do I know when my kid's ready to come see you?
Oh, that's good. So, in general, anybody who is a creative soul.
Okay.
When I say that, I mean they can't help but think outside the box. They can't help but have their own unique ideas. They might want to put it on paper. They might want to sing a song. They might want to dance it out. They might want to, a little irreverent. I mean, I like irreverent. Oops, see, we went right through that. Who should come to me are people that are creative, without a doubt. Okay. If you expect a traditional therapist or traditional thinker or somebody who loves psychological testing or something like that, that is not who I am, because it's too confining.
Yeah.
I can work with people I do like to work with people with depression and anxiety. I like to work with people that are going through like a career thing or an interpersonal thing where they're like, they know they have to change and or their partner has to change, but it's obviously a dance with them and their partner. I work with bereavement really well because bereavement was a defining thing in our family growing up. The loss of a child, I won't go in there right now, but I work really well with, I think, people that are in recovery. I'm not a substance abuse counselor. I'm not. But I work really well with the people that are in recovery and or still on the edge of, I really, really, really don't want to do this anymore. I do. But they can talk about it and they want to change and all that stuff. So if they need, services, I'm not going to keep working with them. But I have a fair amount of people that are, you could even say they do things their own way. And I try to remind them that, let's get more comfortable with yourself instead of hiding, let's just say, your sadness. Deal with your feelings more than drink it away or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's, again, a very non-linear answer to your question, but
that's great.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I think I think the thing about me as a therapist too is I meet people where they are. So every day is different and every client is different, and never am I bored because people are so unique.
Yeah.
So I just keep meeting them. You know, I always say mind, body, spirit. I really do say that.
Right.
And notice I'm saying not just here, because if I was just here, I wouldn't be able to be all the other creative parts of myself,
Right.
which I think are healing.
Right.
And matching of people.
That's our 3 pillars here, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And we just added community, and this show is one of them.
And I wanted to address that.
Yeah, tell me.
Because you asked in your little thing, and this is the only thing I want to say. Like, no, I'm sorry, but.
No, I love it.
What Micah wrote to me was, for the care of your neighbor and your community.
Yeah.
So I did think about that. And I loved it that was piece of your prepping for me.
Yeah.
And I think the takeaway for everyone in the world who, and if they watch this, that's great, but whatever, everybody in the world, is to stick with being curious about how someone describes something.
Love that.
Okay, so again, I said someone might come in like this, angry, or they don't even say it, but they might say, I'm just angry. Yeah. Oh, you're angry, because you don't really know what they mean until they start to explain why. I'm angry. I'm so angry I could smash this glass. Or I'm so angry I could put tape all over their mouth. Or I'm so angry I could, I don't know what. Rip that newspaper in half because I know my dad's going to want to read it later.
Ooh.
Whatever. So go towards a word that someone uses and get them to make it flower open. Because you really don't know until you ask, until you listen.
Huh. How do you do that without...
Make it seem like they're dumb? No.
Yeah. Like, I'm anxious. I'm not, but I'm anxious. What do you say?
What's on your mind? What are you thinking about?
I have to make a phone call later that I don't want to make. I'm anxious about it.
Is it a phone call about work? Is it, I might ask that.
Yeah.
I might say, I'm not kidding. I've literally talked with somebody who was anxious about making a phone call to the telephone company or whatever because their power was cut off or something.
Yeah.
So I help a person take care of themselves while they are doing the task. I literally have said, what would make you feel like take care of yourself? You really like a hot cup of coffee with sweetener in it today? I might say that. Take care of yourself while you're doing the hard thing.
Okay.
I will often tell people to put their hands on their heart. You are gently addressing your body's needs. You are mothering yourself, mothering, caretaking of yourself. I would say, it's okay to be anxious. And I would say, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. Or I might say, let's role play it. How's that? I might say, okay, so let's pretend I'm the person at the other end of the line. And I do this anyway. It's a little old-fashioned. I don't have like the cell phone thing. I still do. I know, right? And I might say, I might tell them, let's do it more than once.
Yeah.
Because I might be like, suppose you get the angry person on the other side, or the like cold person who's like, hello? Yes. I don't know. You'll have to call our main customer number or whatever.
Right.
So you let them play out scenarios so that then it becomes a little less scary, whatever it may be.
Right.
I have to talk to my teacher because I really want to get a better grade on that, and I think they gave me a bad, unfair grade or whatever.
Yeah.
So people sometimes have to show the therapist in drama therapy who they're afraid of interacting with. That makes the role play even more effective.
Right.
That would be more in the psychodrama stuff, which I told you about too.
Right.
You introduce, you person, introduce by literally embodying, showing me how your mother stands.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then I might have to be like that when I talk to you. And then I might soften just because as the conversation goes, you get rehearsed.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And if it's something internal, like...
feeling bad about themselves or something?
Oh, I remember Yvonne, the owner, obviously, telling me when I first started working for her, she told me that with kids who are diagnosed with OCD, she tells them to call the OCD the bully. And the bully does things. The kid doesn't do it. It's the bully. And she asks them to talk to bully. And bully is someone that they can like interact with when they feel like certain, when they feel like compulsive in some way. So they can be like, bully, I don't need to touch the door 3 times.
Yes.
How do you invite people into that space? You know, just pillow, become bully?
That's a good one. It might. I'd be more likely to first have them draw it.
Ooh.
Show me the bully.
Yeah.
Again, some people might have just the mouth with fangs.
Yeah.
Or they might just have the downturned eyes, or they might have like, you know, something with big hands.
Yeah.
And that leads really well to what are they grappling with? OCD is very tricky though, just to honor that. OCD, though I have a lot of adult clients who have told me this year that they have OCD stuff. And I do often refer to somebody who does cognitive behavioral work, but they still work with me because I'm doing the creative side with them.
Right.
I don't think, because OCD is really more of a biochemical thing going on, I don't think I can easily whip that into shape through drama therapy.
Right.
It still needs a little bit more support.
Okay.
But I do like the externalizing of this thing that grabs you, the bully within. I would use humor. I often, it depends on the kid, depends on the age. If they're not a funny kid, then don't. But if they have a little bit of humor, if they do have a little bit of humor, I might say, oh my gosh, you know, I hate this part of me that comes out. And, you know, I just want to like, I use the scene from the Harry Potter movies when Lupin, I think it's Lupin's trying to help them with the Boggarts.
Yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about,
I've actually
right?
already talked about this, I think, twice on the show. But
okay, there you go. But it's really good.
Yeah.
And, you know, it depends on how old you are and whether you know that scene. And of course it happens in the book too. But in the movie, it's outstanding.
Right.
You see a spider wearing roller skates. Go Ron Weasley, right?
Right. Because
then we need to. We need to be nice to ourselves when we're facing something that's hard.
Yeah.
We cannot be mean to ourselves and make fun of ourselves or belittle ourselves, or the problem gets worse and you feel worse inside.
Right. So for those who don't know, this is the Ridiculo.
Yeah, thank you.
Jinx.
Charm?
Is it a jinx or a charm?
Charm. What is
Charm.
it? Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
Command? Master? I don't know.
It's you, when you come across something that scares you, you make it ridiculous inside your brain. So
yeah, ridiculoso. That's what they say.
Yeah, right? And so
you transform it.
You transform it. So if you are afraid of spiders and you put roller skates on the spider and the spider can't stand. For reference, that's that moment in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're unfortunately running out of time. I wish we weren't. But how do I get my kid or myself to come and see you? What do I do to get to you?
You would go to my website, which is replenishmentandchange.com.
Cool.
And there is a place on that website that probably is just a form you fill out, an inquiry form.
Okay.
And it'll go directly to me, an email. Mm-hmm. Some people call me directly.
Sure.
Either one is okay. My phone number's on the website too.
Sure.
And say a little bit, but you know, that whole protective health information, you should not say too much on an initial inquiry when you're filling out the form.
Right.
Ask for a phone call. And right now I'm still doing virtual only because I'm not vaccinated. But yes, I will talk with you about, you know, the issue you need to work on. I've got to be good at it. I've got to be an expert in it, and not just the creative stuff that I do. I need to know I have the content knowledge as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I know you said you're a person who doesn't ever want to be one thing. So what's the latest thing?
The latest thing is that I'm working on a one-woman show.
I love that for you.
And I
want tickets.
Love it. I am very happy. I have an acting coach who was one of my improv ensemble colleagues.
So fun.
And he and I are letting me write away. And it's going to be about everything pretty much childhood, adolescence, young 20s. I met my husband really young in college. And he's not necessarily featured in it because it's like how my mother and father are very strong in it. But it's kind of letting me look at relationships and letting me shine when I have to and rainstorm when I have to.
Does it have a name yet?
Stormy Together or Kicking the Bee's Nest.
Oh.
But that is my latest thing. I do practice what I preach. I'm 100% a person who walks, talks, breathes, sleeps, eats the creative arts.
Cool.
Some people will say, like, you're so much fun. How are you as a real person? I'm like, I'm pretty much the same way because that's what makes me... I mean, authenticity. Authenticity is my cornerstone to working with anybody.
Yeah.
If you want to be feeling different in your life and better, please start with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, how you are, but if you want to change, I'll help you. You know? Anyway.
At replenishment and change.
Oh, it's
.org.
.com.
.com.
.com. That is very me.
Yeah.
It's not an accident. That's my own website.
Well, thank you very much.
I know. Thank you. I really did appreciate it. Micah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quit.